Kia ora. This is my reflection on my learning with, from and about other professionals within the team. So first of all, what I've learned from and about the interprofessionals within the group, starting with the teacher, her delivery for the whole class has targeted the focus child as well as many others in her room. She has a class that has many higher needs students and her patience is just never ending. She's constantly trying new approaches to support them, things like raffle tickets for good behaviour, different planning formats for writing, headphones for students who are prone to distraction, and meetings with parents, engaging them in maths with card games and board games. She takes so much time to work through the little issues so that the students are able to feel that they're heard and issues are sorted out before the learning can begin. And she also treats them as responsible, mature and empowered members of a team. She talks to them about their successes during transition times, about their prefrontal cortex and waking up their brain with different activities that they do. They're all engaged in all aspects of the program and understand the purpose of it. So I've just found her an outstanding model and it's been amazing for me to observe her and learn from her every week. Looking at the whānau and my interaction with the whānau, I've been reminded yet again what a huge additional consideration it is in families' lives when one of their children has a learning difficulty. The amount of time that they're putting in at home and the amount of worry and stress is fairly significant, or can be. And they've also taught me what a complicated process it can be, particularly when one or both parents want the child to be fixed, so to speak. And it's a real journey to accept that your child is different and not doing the things that you thought they might be. In my work with the student, I haven't worked extensively one-on-one with the student, but I did have the opportunity to gather student voice from him and others. And that experience reinforced for me the importance of truly listening to our students and putting aside our own preconceived ideas to make way for what's important and effective in the child's mind. And this child could tell me quite articulately the things that did and didn't help him. And it was key information that would have remained a mystery to me if I hadn't taken the time to ask those questions. In my meetings and observations of the learning support teacher, it's reinforced to me what a fabulous idea it is to have somebody like her in a role at a school where they're full-time. She has the expertise and the time to make that program really effective. She talked about being a learner and constantly reading and gaining new ideas, and that every child she works with is so different. And listening to her talk and feeling grateful on the school's behalf that they have such an educated and current professional working with them has also made me realise that I'm feeling current and professional. Having done the course over the past year and a half, I feel in a position now to recognise clearly when someone's philosophy and theories fit with what is being advocated through research and through the Ministry of Education. It's a really good feeling that I understand what we're aiming for in education and that I can appreciate it in others. In my work with the teacher aides, it was reinforced in my discussions with them how well the school has done in appointing professionals who are in unison and the things that they view as important for their students, and they're also experienced and good at their jobs. It's also reinforced that the members of this team work well together and make each other feel valued. I learned more about how teacher aides can feel isolated from the teaching staff, as well as in some ways that can help to minimise that. And in the case of these teacher aides, regular meetings with the principal have really helped, and open and regular communication with teaching staff, as well as the feeling that they're respected and that they have the freedom to suggest changes and improvements to the processes within the school. In my dealings with the SENCO, I've learned a lot about the processes around learning support within a school, and I believe I've seen a really good model, although of course there's always room for improvement. I've also learned more about what's involved in the role of a SENCO. It's a very complex role and one that probably often doesn't receive enough support or resourcing, and hopefully this will change with our current government. Through my interview with the educational consultant, I learned to put aside my preconceived idea of an assessor as someone separate who's not invested in the child's future. This educational consultant was, and probably most are, if not all, very passionate about each of the students she assesses. She got into the role the same way as all of us have, because she loved working with children and wants to see them succeed. And the interview I had with her was so at odds with the vision I had in my head of her role that it was probably the biggest learning experience I'll take from this whole assignment. The importance of connecting with other people, actually taking the time to ask them questions and find out their ideas and philosophies, rather than assigning them with whatever is in your mind for them. Having seen the assessment report and having heard snippets of conversation between other team members about the role of the assessor, I had, without meaning to, assumed an unconscious bias about her. And in my written transcript of this reflection, I've referenced the TEDx talk by Helen Turnbull, which was what got me thinking about my own unconscious biases and how they could affect my work. Going on to what I've learnt with the group. Due to my visitor's status in the group, the majority of the learning has been mine. However, there have been some things that I've been able to share with the group. So as a part of my learning around dyslexia, I collected student and whānau voice. I was able to learn about how students in whānau are responding to the school's pedagogy for supporting dyslexia. Having conducted those interviews, I shared my findings with the SENCO, who then shared them with the teacher aides and the teachers involved. They were thankful to have access to it, and I suspect that the families I interviewed also felt pleased to have a chance to express their views. I've also taken the time to share my inquiry findings with the class teacher, as well as some resources that I thought might be helpful to the teacher and to the whānau. Upon receiving the assessment data for the target student, I learned more about the specific needs and strengths of the student, along with the SENCO class teacher and learning support teacher. And after my interview with the educational consultant, and my realisation that my assumptions about her role had been incorrect, I was then able to share my learning with the rest of the team. We'd all been under the assumption that the assessment was a one-off and that the school-based team would take it from there. The way the report was written made it seem that further contact was not expected. However, in my discussion with the assessor, it made it clear that she was very happy to give further support and at no extra cost. And in fact, she really appreciated people coming to her with questions and being involved in the follow-up from the report. So, considering the detailed nature of the assessment, this further involvement of the assessor could actually have a huge impact on the effectiveness of goals and next steps for the student. When I shared all this information with the school-based team, they gave me feedback, expressing their surprise and gratitude for the new knowledge on their part as well. So I'm really pleased to have been able to contribute that small but quite important idea within the team. So this concludes my reflection of my learning from, with and about the professionals within the team.